Okay, that is going to be broadcast number one. Let me turn my TV off in the background. I don't want to get in trouble for that being on. Didn't know that was going to be on the camera or not. Anyway, it is first day of my channel here, and like a lot of the other channels that do board games and such, that's going to be part of what I do. And I don't really know what projects I'll do to start with. Um, I'm a big fan of Stratomatic Baseball, and I like a lot of baseball replay type games. I have invested in some other ones, although I don't play them a lot. I have the 1979 season of Payoff Pitch. I've invested in some of the seasons for, well, actually, just a couple for History Maker Baseball. I have what is it, the 1956 season, and recently purchased the 1969 season, as well as the first set of fall classics. And that includes 47, 54, 65, 68, 71, 72, 85, and 86. So I might do something with those. Rob on his channel has been through StreamYard trying to teach me how to play Glory Days Boxing. I feel like I'm kind of getting a little bit of the hang of how to play that game. So I'll probably be playing some of that on here. I have a couple other play games, Soccer Blast. Haven't done a whole lot with that. I do that a lot. I'll buy games and then not really get into playing them. Um, and I have the History Maker golf game and second season football. So what I'm going to do here is I'll probably talk a little bit about playoff games coming up because those start today. Um, and I'm going to send a few invitations out through for StreamYard. So let me go in and invite a few people. All right. Bear with me while I do this. I don't want to mess up, so I'm not constantly talking, but let's see. I get Rob, who's been somewhat patiently waiting for me to do this. Get Tim Tribe Fan in here. See if Michael wants to come on. Dwayne. Wonder if Alan's around. I don't even know if I have his. I do. There it is. And let's just see who shows up here this morning. There was somebody else here I was gonna. See. Oh, see Sean Armstrong's around. Paste. Send. Let's see. All right. Send. There we go. So anyway, yeah, we got playoff games coming up in the NFL, and I'm hoping at least half of these games are entertaining. Starting with that Seattle San Francisco game, I think that'll be close for at least a while, but let me close this. I think it'll be close for at least a while, maybe into the second quarter somewhat, but if Seattle starts making turnovers in that game, and with the 49ers defense being pretty good, I think that that's a possibility even early on. If San Francisco gets up by more than a touchdown in the first quarter of that game, that one could spiral out of control really, really quick. Um, I'm hoping Seattle can at least keep it close. I guess for me, I kind of hope that San Francisco wins. It's not because I'm a San Francisco 49er fan by any means, but just looking forward, it'd be good to have a team that has the potential to go deep into the playoffs and at least provide one good challenger for the Eagles to have to contend with down the stretch. And the reason I say that is I'm not really sure that I trust Dallas and Tampa Bay. And really, Tampa Bay, um, I haven't been that impressed with them this year. And it's not just because of their record, but just watching them play, there doesn't seem to be. Um, I don't ever sense that team gets into a real good rhythm. They just seem to, they'll put a good drive together here or there. Um, but they rally late to win sometimes, and yeah, the defense is probably pretty good, and yeah, they might be able to pull a win out against Dallas, but I just don't see them really being competitive against the Eagles for sure. So I really don't uh, really want them to win. I guess I kind of want Dallas to win, which is something I almost never want. So it's it's strange to be in that position to want a team that I usually root against to want to win, but um, I think it is for me it'd be more interesting to see them playing again next week. Giants at the Vikings. I've heard a lot of people talking about the Giants winning this game, and I don't know if I want them to win. I mean I tend to root for underdogs, but the Vikings have never won a Super Bowl, so on that side of it, I'm not really rooting against Minnesota. Um, I don't trust Cousins that much. Get him in a road game. I don't know how he would play. Hopefully, better than he has in the past, but I don't. I don't have a lot of confidence in him. But then again, with the Giants, a lot of people probably still don't have a lot of trust in Jones, Daniel Jones, the quarterback of the Giants. They have a running game. I really can't say too much about the Giants defense. I guess it's probably at least average, if not a little better than average. Um, I know the Vikings defense hasn't been impressive at all, and that might be the top reason why a lot of people think that the Giants can actually pull an upset off there. If it really is an upset, the Vikings with their record suggests that it would be. But I think I have a feeling the Vikings will find a way to either win it late or at least um, give themselves a way to blow it late like they have in the past a couple times. I remember their game against Atlanta, of course, in 1998 when they lost at home after Gary Anderson's missed field goal. And then there were, what was it, about 5 years ago? They were home against Seattle. All they had to do was make a pretty short field goal late in that game to advance, and then they lost because they missed the field goal. And then it was Seattle, I think, that advanced to Atlanta. And I don't remember if that was the second, they're like their repeat Super Bowl year or the year after that. It was probably the year after that. And so, anyway, I'm kind of, I might find myself rooting for the Giants as an underdog today, but then again, looking forward, I kind of like to see the Vikings have a chance to go deep again for First time in a long time. Was it? They did get to the conference championship game in Philadelphia. Uh, that was about 4 years ago, and they got beat soundly in that game. And that was the year the Eagles won the Super Bowl. And I'm trying to remember who was the quarterback for the Vikings in that game. I don't even recall. I don't think it was Cousins, but maybe it was. And let's see what else we got going on for football this weekend. Oh, of course, we got the Bills home against the Dolphins. I can't, and I'm probably not the only one. I can't even picture that being close because the Dolphins are on their third string quarterback, and I couldn't even tell you who that is. Is he a rookie? Anybody, I don't have anybody in chat to help me out with anything right now, but um, let me look and see real quick who they're. Skylar Thompson, I guess is who it is, out of Kansas State. Yeah, he's a rookie. 6'2", 219. I'm looking at some stats that they show here. I guess it's this year, 534 yards, longest completion of 32, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions. That's not good. 6 sacks, 40 yards, yards per attempt, 5.09. This is way too small a sample size really to judge anybody, but that 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions certainly doesn't look good. And a quarterback rating, I guess that's something a little bit to look at there, 62.2. That's not impressive either. So the Bills should roll in this game. Maybe even if Tua was playing, that might be the case, being at home, and just probably a better team in a lot of areas. Of course, Jared Allen, one of the top quarterbacks in the league, and that added ability of his to run. I just wonder, I don't know who the Bills' backup quarterback is. If he were to get hurt, I mean, that could really change things around, I suppose. It's always a possibility, of course, that anybody could get hurt. They have Case Keenum as their backup. He's more experienced, so they should still win, even if that was to happen, which I don't expect that it will. And finally, well, not finally, because I'd never mentioned the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Los Angeles Chargers. That should be a good game. A little bit torn on where I want to go here as far as who I want to win. I guess the Jaguars, never much for rooting for Los Angeles teams. That must be personal bias of mine, but I had a friend from the San Diego area who for a long time was a Chargers fan, but then he was very upset when they left San Diego and then became an anti-Chargers fan. So, and he's a late friend of mine who passed away a little over a year ago, well, close to 2 years ago now. If he had still been a Chargers fan in that last couple of years, I'd probably be rooting for them just as a sentimental favorite. But really, I'd rather the Jaguars win. They've been playing well. Lawrence has been playing really, really well. They're at home. I mean, there's not really a lot of other reasons for me to root for them, but other than they've never been, well, they have been to 2 conference championship games in their existence, if I remember correctly. They were there in their second year in 1996 after upsetting Denver who I think was the top seed in the playoffs that year. And that was that was '96. Then the Jaguars went to New England and lost to the Patriots, who went to play the Packers in the Super Bowl. And then a few years ago, they were again at New England, had a lead late, and then Brady pulled off one of his comebacks, and I was at the airport in Dallas at the time of that game. Patriots ended up going to another Super Bowl. I don't remember if the Patriots won it that year. Wait, that was the year. No, that was the year the Eagles beat them. Yeah, because later that day, the Eagles routed the Vikings. So anyway, on that game, kind of hoping the Jaguars win, but if the Chargers win, I don't really have, other than being an LA team, have anything against the Chargers. And then the last game, I guess the only one I haven't mentioned so far, Ravens Bengals. I'm not going to say the Ravens are going to get blown out. And I unlike Harris Jessup, a friend of mine on here, I like Harbaugh as a coach. I think he's pretty good, and he should be seen that way. I mean, as long as he's been there, as many winning records as that team has had, I can't really knock the guy for anything. I mean, I suppose he makes some bad decisions from time to time, but that's probably true for almost any coach. But as long as they have their second string quarterback, which is Huntley, I think, they may be able to be competitive in this game. I'm a big Burrow fan from his days down here at LSU, as I'm in Louisiana. And I like his poise as a player, his leadership. He impressed a lot last year in the postseason, especially with some road wins in Tennessee and, of course, Kansas City. Had his team in the lead late in the Super Bowl. Something I think he'll be probably an MVP in that game at some point in his career. Playing the Ravens at home, Ravens might be able to make it interesting, keep it kind of close, but I think the Bengals will end up winning that game. And I don't remember what I picked for a final score on that game. What I'm seeing here on CBS Sports is that the Bengals are an 8.5-point favorite. They might not cover that, and I may have picked them in a final score to cover that, but I don't really give the Ravens a big chance to win this game. A little one, sure, but I think the Bengals, I would probably give them somewhere between a 75 and 80% chance to win this game. That might be a little high, but that's just kind of my gut feeling on that one. Let's see. Do I have anybody? Where does it show? If you have anybody watching your video here, I don't see anything right now. Let's see if Rob's around. Send him a quick little text message here. There. Let's see, it'd be about 9:30 there. He was not feeling best last night. I don't even know if he's up yet. Sent a few other invites out. If Rob doesn't show up or if nobody else shows up here pretty soon, I'll probably keep this kind of short. Talking about, though, let me talk about Stratomatic a little bit. I don't have a lot of card sets as far as having the actual cards. I've got the computer game. I've got a lot of seasons on that. I might see if I can find a way to share the screen and do my own dice rolls. Maybe I'd pick a season where I could do actual lineups. That's one thing I've noticed with the gaming community is it seems like most people, maybe I'm wrong on that, but it seems like most people like as played lineups. I'm not really one of those, but if the majority of the gaming community prefers that, I guess I would probably start with doing something with as played lineups if it's with Stratomatic or Payoff Pitch or whatever that may be. I was considering getting the 2022 set of Payoff Pitch when it comes out. Kind of interested with having, both leagues having the DH. I may get that set when it's available. Um, but as far as Strat, I've got a lot of seasons started. I'd have to think about what one I might want to do. Um, Maybe pick one league and just play the games out or something. Maybe one team. Generally, I like to play all the games and manage them myself. See, when I'm playing seasons, a lot of times I would look at the rosters and try to balance them as far as at bats and innings pitched and stuff on there. So I would put players on the team that they spent the majority of the season on, and I wouldn't do transactions during the season. Just keep the rosters the same, and part of it's for the statistics and stuff in the game, seeing one player statistics in one spot, um, but I just kind of like to manage my own game, make it my own thing, set my own lineup, set my own rotations, make my own pitching change decision, which you do anyway. But with as played lineups, you don't do a lot of that. Now, if I get into that's with Stratomac. I don't know if that's the game I would start with. I've been toying around with the 1984 season lately with the advanced rules and using the what's the name of that dice roller? Rock and Roll Dice Roller or something. Yeah, and I've gotten about 50. I think I'm on game 55 right now. And it's the Tigers and Red Sox in Boston. Tigers are not undefeated still as they were in real life. They're 3-4, I think, and they were actually 7-0. But anyway, I have those History Maker baseball cards. You don't get all the cards with those sets, so I would probably do some kind of a custom fictional type of little league. Maybe pick 6 teams, possibly 8 pennant winners, or I got the whole 69 season. Maybe I'd pick a few 69 teams, but I was thinking maybe take the World Series teams from, let's say, 68, 69, and either 71 or 72. Well, no, probably 72, because 71, that would be a repeat with the Orioles because they were in 69. But maybe 68, 69, and 72, maybe take those 6 teams and create a little season and keep the stats on the Stratomatic game where I could manually input things. And then I could lay my cards out on this little mat I have here on my desktop and maybe aim the camera down so you could see the cards and the dice rolls. So a lot of different things I could do. Like I say, I mentioned Glory Days Boxing earlier. Rob's on his way in here. And I'll be playing some of that. Oh, I also have, what is that, Shootout? Cold Stone Hockey. I haven't done anything with that yet, but I've had it for probably over a month. And I'll probably get around to playing that as well. I've watched Rob playing it. It looks like it's a fun game. So I'll probably get around to doing that at some point. Hey, Rob, you there this morning? I
Good
can.
morning. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can't see you, but I can hear you.
I think we're coming around with the cam here too. Just woke up.
Yeah. Well, a little bit ago, it showed where you were trying to connect, but
Oh, okay.
I know you were feeling a little under the weather last night. How are you feeling this morning?
I was just congested, man. I was just congested, but not Harris sick. Not that bad, man. Man, he contacts me again and says I've got COVID again. I'm like, oh my
All right, here
god.
you go. Now I can see it a little bit. A little blurry, but it'll kind of. I think your computer, it takes a little while to boot up, and it's probably got stuff running in the background. And the longer you're on, the better it
The better
does.
it
Yeah, now
does.
it's clearing
Oh,
up.
okay.
Yeah,
Is it?
yeah.
All right.
I
It yeah. Harris, man, I don't know what the deal is. I'm starting to work. I'm not even starting to. I've been worried about it for a couple of weeks, but now it's, 70 pounds, a little over 2 months. It's just, that's not right. That's not right. I mean, that sounds like shit you hear on TV. Well, if you take this med or this pill, we can, that shit don't work. I mean, it works, but your body's not made for that.
makes you.
It's not a
Well,
good.
I don't want to talk too much about people's medical, but
No, I understand. I'm just worried about the
but
man.
I
I'm just
understand
worried
what you're
about the
saying.
man.
Yeah,
That's my thing.
find
Yeah,
out why
yeah.
if there's something
So what?
contributing to him getting
So
sick.
yeah. What do you got? What have you got? Would you? I caught right at the end. You said somebody was a game Rob plays that you're gonna play. Is it?
Yeah, I mentioned. Yeah, I've had it. I don't know, a couple months or something, and I haven't really done anything with it. But I do that a lot. I'll get games. I kind of, and I think a lot of people do that. They get a lot of
Oh,
games and don't really get into
yeah.
them. I mentioned that I might play around with
24
some.
hours in a day. Yeah, 24 hours in a day, and then
Yeah,
before you know it, the day's over. So,
yeah. I was
what
thinking,
is it you mentioned?
when the new payoff pitch season comes out, I might get that the 2022. I haven't decided on that yet. I'm trying to figure out what baseball game I'd like to. I like Strat a lot, but I don't have a lot of the physical cards of it. I got mostly it's on the computer game, and the cards are on there. I might see if I could share the screen or something on that, but I might decide to even get a second monitor at some point, to try to so I could see chat over on one side. And right now, I'd kind of have to turn around so I can see the TV, so I could see the chat, because my chat will come up on the TV on the right hand side, so I could see
And
that
it's
while I
two
was
or three
playing.
seconds difference too.
Yeah, but with its
What about
text
2 3
chat, it
seconds?
doesn't matter. A few seconds
And
isn't going to
mine
matter.
is. Mine's just a line.
What's that?
Nah, it doesn't matter at all.
No, no.
Yeah. No, it doesn't matter at all about chat as far as a couple seconds. You
You're breaking up there. Kind of froze on me there a little, Rob.
we still here.
Just give it a second or
Let's
two.
say I gotta check, make sure I don't have anything downloaded.
Yeah. All right. Seems like it's getting a little better. Yeah, the video faded out a little bit so that maybe you can get the audio in. I mentioned the playoff games today and kind of more talking about. I talked about who I thought was going to win a little bit, but I spent some time just talking too about who I want to win and why. And this is repetitive, but um, 49ers. I kind of
That's too
want them
hard,
to
man.
win because no, that's the
Yeah.
first game today, 49ers
Oh,
Seahawks.
that's right. That's right. That's right. 49ers Seahawks today, and then tonight is it?
Chargers Jaguars.
Yeah, yeah.
I kind of want the
I can
49ers to
see.
win. I don't have anything against the Seahawks, but going
I'd like to see
forward,
them represent the NFC. I'd like to see them represent the NFC. I think we'll get the best Super Bowl possible. if they represent, because they know how to play defense, they can run football, and Purdy kind of unproven to the point.
It's a good story. Purdy would be a great storyline.
You know, it's kind of like a Tom Brady 22 years later.
Yeah, I don't.
It's kind of like that.
I like Tom Brady, but I don't really want the Buccaneers to go to. In fact, I find myself in an unusual position, as I already mentioned, rooting for Dallas this week in a way, because as much as I am not a fan of the Dallas Cowboys, for next week, I think it would just be more fun watching them play next week than watching Tampa Bay play next week. Because I just have a feeling Tampa Bay they're not going to look real good in one of these games. And
Tampa over the year.
You're kind of
turn the switch on sometimes, and that's what's crazy. They can look like garbage, total garbage, 2 weeks in a row, and then all of a sudden he goes out here and I'm talking about Tom throws 350. They may not win by over a field goal. Yeah, they don't stretch teams. They don't beat them by 30.
But I don't think that they're as good this year, though. I just don't.
I'm not sure they are as good, but I'm not sure they wouldn't give San Francisco a better game than Dallas would, because I really think at this point Dallas's passing game is not there. It's just not. Their aerial game. We saw what they did against Washington last week. I don't think you can turn a button.
Well, you did more than I did, but
yeah. And I mean, they ran back a pick six, and they ran. They got 3 picks on them, and their defensive backs are not as good. They're not as good as the 49ers. They're just not as good.
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk that CeeDee Lamb isn't a true number 1 receiver, and they don't have the guy that went to Cleveland anymore. And I thought he was a guy to keep. The guy from Alabama. Help me with his name, Rob. I can't remember. Started with the Raiders, I think, and then he went to Dallas. And
yeah, was he at Alabama though?
I thought so.
I'm not sure he went to. I'll tell you his name. I may have to look for it, but I'll tell you his name.
But anyway, he was a game changer type of receiver, and I was really surprised that they let him get away. I thought they would have kept him for sure, but I guess they thought Lamb would be the same. Pardon?
Amari Cooper.
Cooper, that's it. Yeah. We're pretty sure he's from Alabama. But, I thought that was easily the best receiver they had. And he.
Yeah, he's better than anything they've got right now. That's for sure.
Yeah. So, who is it? They have one guy that's been there for a while, but he's hurt all the time. Is his last name start with a G or something? I'm bad with names anymore when it comes to these players. I used to be really, really good with names.
You talking about Dallas?
Dallas's wide receiver. You're like their number 2 guy. Yeah. It's not Galladay or something like that, is it? Gallup. Yeah.
Gallup.
He's hurt a lot, though. It seems like to me. I don't. It seems like he's always on the injured report.
Yeah. Turpin doesn't look like he's going to be a number 1. He's just Kevontae Turpin. Lamb is best. I mean, he's 6'4", weighs 200 pounds, built perfect for a number 1 receiver. I just don't think he can stretch defenses like a lot of guys can.
No. They need a good complement for him on the other side. In fact, if Dallas could get maybe even the first round or their first pick of the draft, if they could get a real good receiver to put up on the other side, that might be a good investment for them.
Yeah, the thing is, you got to wonder, how far up in line they would have to move in order to get a good receiver. Receiver ain't gonna go number one. The receiver ain't gonna go number two. I don't think they're good this year. Next year, the year when Harrison Jr. comes out of Ohio State, I mean, you're gonna have 10 receivers probably for round next year. This year, you may have 10 going to first, which the last in the bottom 10. So they're not as good this year. They're decent.
I guess previewing 2024, 2025, we can expect a lot of maybe an explosion in passing.
Yeah, it's always. Yeah.
But back to the playoffs. Yeah, just it's a going forward type of thing. I'd rather have San Francisco and Dallas in the next round, and me personally, that is, instead of Seattle and Tampa Bay. And then I was talking about the Giants and the Vikings, and I mean, it would be nice to see Minnesota be able to go deep into playoffs again. I don't have anything really against the Giants, and we have Michael in our community being a Giants fan. That he's had
They are limited.
a loss.
They're limited what they can do. They really are limited in what they can do.
Are you talking about which team?
The Giants. Oh, if Minnesota plays their best offense today, tomorrow,
Yeah.
they can run the Giants out the field in the first half.
Well, I don't really see them running anybody out of. I mean, yeah, they can put up a lot of numbers offensively, but their defense will probably give up everything their offense.
Jefferson. But I don't know if the Giants are capable of matching touchdown for touchdown with this team. I just don't think they are.
Well, they did just play each other, and it was an overtime game, right? And I mean, in Minnesota, I think the Giants' running game may be a little better than Minnesota's. Jones has played better. Cousins still will look kind of rough sometimes. Yeah, he's capable of having some really, really good games, but he sometimes just inexplicably shows up and plays terrible or doesn't show up.
The kid from Minnesota is capable of putting 200 on the board anytime. What's his name?
Peterson? Or not Peterson, the receiver.
No, the running back.
Jefferson. Cook?
No.
Cook?
Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, but I don't know if they...
But they don't look to do that.
Yeah, they don't try. They don't. No.
If I'm the offensive coordinator at Minnesota, there's 3 reasons you want to have him running the football: your defense, and your defense. You don't want them on the field more than they have to be. Dalvin Cook, every second that he's on the field, your defense is off the field, and they can't get scored on. So,
well, I think if they tried to use their run game a little more than they do, they could probably hit some big runs. And if you have big plays, you're going to score quick anyway. But
but
because
if you do get to 5-6 yard ones, that's not bad offense.
Yeah, but I mean, he might if they ran a few more runs after some hitting some passes, they might be breaking 40, 50, 60-yard runs off with Cook in some big holes. So I don't know. I mean, you'd probably have a couple long touchdown runs if you use the run at the right times.
And that's when you can't blame. That's when you can't blame the quarterback for throwing 9 INTs if you're handing the ball off. It's a lot less chance of losing the football. I realize you can fumble, but indoors in the dome, no weather today. Tomorrow, weather's not going to be a problem. If they could run the football 150 yards, even 125, that takes so much pressure.
Well, welcome to the Couch Coordinator Show. Here we're sitting here coordinating these offenses from our seat.
I got first cousins that live and die by the Vikings. Have always. And I mean, when I was a little boy going to the Super Bowl, they were doing this stuff, and they haven't been in 50 friggin' years.
You know what?
They would absolutely love it.
I was a kid from the 70s, and my impression of the Vikings back then was that they were one of the super teams in the league. I mean, when I looked at the NFC Central, I mean, to me, I at the time, I guess, the Vikings were the best team in that division, like heads and shoulders at everybody else.
Minnesota of the 70s, Denver of the 80s, Buffalo of the 90s. If
Teams that won a lot of games but didn't get titles.
didn't right, but the thing is, had they won, it would not have been upsets. They never would have been upset if Buffalo
Right.
would have won a Super
Oh,
Bowl.
right.
It never would have been.
Oh, in fact,
They
they were the favorite
they
in the
were
first
just
one
that-
for sure.
They were that damn good. I mean, they had everything needed. And I don't blame coaching for it. I just think the ball doesn't always roll your way home.
Hmm.
I don't know, but that,
And that's what it was. I mean, they were the better team against the Giants, probably, but the Giants ran a good game plan. They shortened the game with a running game. They were able to keep moving the chains. They had that one mistake that was a safety, could have been a disaster early on when was it Smith sacked Hostetler in the end zone?
Bruce, right?
Yeah.
That's general. But the thing is, if you look at Minnesota, look at Denver, and look at Buffalo, look what they went against. They went against teams with really good defenses. Steelers in the 70s, and Denver went up against the Giants and
Washington, San Francisco.
Washington, which they weren't just one dimensional. They weren't just offenses. They had great defense. And then Buffalo went against those Dallas teams, went against Washington again, and went against the Giants too.
Other good defenses.
They all had good. They really had good defenses as well as offense.
And the Vikings too, with the Steelers and the Raiders and the Dolphins and
right, exactly.
Yeah.
They went against teams that had really good defenses, and they just got outplayed. They just got outplayed, and all it takes is one player. I mean, you go back to 1987.
And those Vikings teams had good defenses. Those Bills teams had good defenses. Those Broncos teams had terrible defenses, in my opinion. But they had a couple of good players.
They had good
Carl Mecklenburg, for one. I mean, but
they had good. They have good front seven. But the problem with Denver was
their secondary couldn't handle.
The secondary couldn't. They could tackle. Dennis Smith was one of the best tackles.
Yeah, and he was big too. He was a big guy.
He was right. He was 230. I mean, to even think he was going to go out here and keep up with those receivers of Washington was crazy. It was nuts.
Well, their guys were a little banged up in that game too, but Lilly and Smith and they were just overmatched.
They were outclassed.
Yeah.
They were, because they just, Washington knew what they had to do. And
well, once Ricky Sanders found out he could beat his guy, it was over.
And think about it, Doug Williams is way past his prime at this time.
Oh yeah, well, he never really had a real good prime. He was never much of a guy that would go over 50% completions, to be honest.
But the fact is, he did have days where he was hot in the early 80s there, in the late 70s. And then, this is 87. You turn the clock back 6, 7 years. He still had an arm.
Yeah, he had an arm.
It is. And that's all they needed in that Super Bowl. Yeah. The kid ran for 200 yards.
Yeah, Timmy Smith.
But then Timmy Smith, one and done. That's what I call him.
Yeah, well, probably because he sniffed 200 grams of something in his following years.
Yeah, well, and I tell you, you go back and look at it now, and even had he run for 15 yards instead of 200 yards, they'd have won that game running away with it, because they didn't have to run the football in order to open the defense up. They just split them open in the second quarter, and then the second half, they just had a trolling motor going, and they just was taking it easy.
Now the Broncos front seven was maybe okay on defense, but they were a little undersized, and they started getting tired there in that second quarter. And I mean, there was that one play where Deerdorf had a ball with that one. The two Redskins linemen from, I think it was the right side, pulled on that counter gap play, and they both fell down. They both fell down, and Kelvin Bryant, it was the ball carrier, I think. He still got like 7 or 8 yards on the play.
And it got no block.
Or maybe it might have been Smith on that play, but it seems like it was Kelvin Bryant on that one.
Yeah, that's wild. That was crazy stuff.
Washington did really well with picking players out of the USFL with Sanders and Kelvin Bryant. And
anytime they ever, if you notice, anytime they ever had a stoppage in play, if they ever had a work stoppage,
yeah,
they always seem to come through and find somebody that was willing to play for them.
Yeah, it's like they had a scout team out there or something.
Yeah, pretty much. And Jack Kent Cook was a well-liked owner, unlike what we got now. He drew players. Oh yeah, Washington D.C. back in the '80s was not a bad place to go play, and like you say, may have been the best stadium to set if you actually want to watch a game on the television.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it was. Yeah, for television, it was outstanding to watch a game there.
It was. RFK didn't get any better.
The angles and stuff you'd get, the way the field looked, and the way the fans were so close to the field and what was going on, and the sounds. Yeah, it was just. Even the field looked nice. I mean, it was, even if it was beat up, it just looked like a classic football setting, just like where it's supposed to be played.
Exactly. There's football fields that you can watch games on television. Cleveland is another one. It's just, you realize on all 4 sides of the field, you got guys and girls dressed up like dogs, dressed up like crazy people that want to see this team play well.
Yeah.
And I enjoy watching games there.
Are you talking about their old stadium?
Either one, both places I've ever played at. I like both places. You know, I just hate it. I hate it that Buffalo plays on like a turf type field. I wish they played in the grass.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be awesome.
Their new stadium looks like that's going to be very nice. So that's going to,
awesome.
Yeah.
Gillette Stadium, where the Patriots play, always looks immaculate.
Mm-hmm.
And then you think about it, you give it some thought. They're way over 1,000 miles north of where we live right here. It's cold for all the friggin' time. And somebody keeps that field in great shape.
I even kind of liked the old Mile High Stadium for TV.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what.
If once baseball season was over and they could put grass on the whole thing.
Yeah. And the place they play at now, I think it's not a bad place for Denver either. I like it.
No, it's all right. Yeah, it's a decent.
Yeah, and then Seattle, where Seattle plays, that's just, I like watching it there. It's just
yeah.
There's something. Now I'm not crazy about.
I would rather they put real grass in there, but yeah.
I'm not crazy about SoFi Stadium. I'm not crazy about that.
No, I'm not crazy about any indoor stadium, to be honest with you. I'm just. I like to see the natural light on the field. I mean, to me, that just looks really nice to see the natural light coming onto the field. But
and that's the thing about Minnesota I don't like is that they got windows on the side, so where you can actually see sunshine down in parts of the field. I don't like that. If you go, at least make it, at least cut anywhere there's seating. Cut the light out from coming in right there.
That makes it tricky for television cameras to try, because they get that glare and then they have a hard time getting.
Receivers too. Because they turn their head the wrong way. Yeah, it's just not.
Kind of looks like that old Texas stadium that the Cowboys played in with that little hole in the roof.
Yeah. And Jacksonville, I keep hearing Shad Khan talk about they may build them a dome or retractable.
For who?
They will want down in Jacksonville.
Oh.
And if they do, they want one kind of like Arizona has, where they can retract the whole field back.
Mm.
They can do that. They can retract.
Still have grass.
Yeah, they can have grass, and then down at the bottom there would be pavement.
Well, it'd be nice if they could retract the roof too, and just.
Yeah, and Arizona can do that. Arizona can.
Yeah, but they don't,
field.
and then you get the.
They don't.
To me, I just don't like that. You got the indoor light. To me, the indoor lights just don't look as nice as having the natural light come in.
And that's the thing. I think Jerry Jones being in Dallas, why wouldn't you have made it where you could open that bad boy up and be like, hey, you know what? We got 50 degrees outside, 30 degrees, 40 degrees, whatever. It doesn't make a damn. It does not have to be 70 degrees to play football. Trust me. And I played a little bit as a kid. You don't want it hot. You'd hold up on a place in school where you can at least catch your breath.
Yeah. One of the most funs to ever watch played in Dallas was that Thanksgiving Day game when the ice was on the field. And Leon Lett. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Dolphins won.
He proved to us real quick he wasn't a Rhodes Scholar. He was pretty funny.
But Jimmy Johnson loved the guy. I mean, obviously, because he didn't cut him.
Jimmy Johnson's not a Rhodes Scholar either. That's another thing.
But Leon Lett was a very good player. He just made some dumb decisions.
There's a lot of great players that are stupid.
Dexter Manley.
Dude, there's a lot of them.
And Manley was one of my favorites. I mean, you go down for all-time Washington players. I mean, he would be on one of my picks for an all-time team, whether he was one of the best or not, and he was very, very good. But I really liked how hard he put, because he always gave it 100% out there. That guy.
I was always a Charles Mann fan.
I liked him a lot too. Yeah.
I was more his fan than I was a Manley fan. And then I was one of those that liked.
To me, there was just something about Manley with his stance, the way there was just something unique about his stance, three-point stance and stuff. And he just brought so much energy and effort into every snap. And that guy was just had a high motor, and it just seemed like a strong desire to win all the time.
I was always wanted like Dave Butts. He reminded me of Pigpen on Charlie Brown. He was right in the middle of the action. He running fast.
Yeah.
Because he was late.
Yeah, Butts had a lot of longevity too, and he plugged that middle up, and he was a big, strong guy. And
if that was the thing, they had two good guys on the outside that could rush the quarterback. Then they had two in the middle that could clog up in the middle.
Yeah, because
the only way you was going to run on Washington pretty much was run wide.
Yeah. Yeah, because it was like linemen didn't know how to get Butts out of the way. I mean, they would try to. You couldn't really just run a trap run and stuff on him, probably like you could other teams.
But that's what the Raiders did to him, and just ripped him apart in the Super Bowl. They had a guy in Allen.
Yeah,
when they ran the ball directly at Manley, he didn't know what to do. He couldn't stop. He could not stop him.
Well, I remember hearing
gaps up
a few days before that Super Bowl and I'm not making an excuse because I know that they can give guys IVs and stuff, but I had heard that a lot of players on the Washington Redskins had the flu that week leading up to that game.
Yeah. Was that played in California?
No, it was played in the Big Sombrero. The Big Sombrero. Tampa.
Oh, was it played in Tampa? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That was another good stadium I liked. The Sombrero. I like their new one.
I do too. I really do like where they play it.
Yeah, that's a nice stadium.
It'll be fun to watch that one on
in fact, that's probably one of my favorite Super Bowl venues that they have right now.
Yeah. And, you was talking about who you hope wins. The ones I picked to win this week is not who I hope wins.
Mm-hmm.
I I think Baltimore win. I think Baltimore goes.
See, I don't. I think I said a little bit earlier. I think the Bengals probably about a 75 to 80% chance to win.
I think they can win there and take care of business this week. I really do. I think they're going to do it. I don't think.
Part of it is I want the Bengals to win because I like
Oh, I
Burrow.
would love to see it. I would love to see. I would like to see the Cincinnati go
And
back
then,
to the
yeah,
Super Bowl.
that
And I'd like to see them play the 49ers. That's who I'd like to see. And without, you see now.
that'd be a third meeting between those two franchises.
Yeah, I wouldn't care who wins because I tell you what, the Brock Purdy story would be a great story if he was to go run through run through and win the Super Bowl, or Joe Burrow his second time in a row. And I mean, look, I just think it would be a fun game to watch. I think both teams are really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
I see.
I think the Bengals would be the sentimental favorite because of the way that the community and everything reacted to the situation with Damar Hamlin. I mean, the fans were real classy and everything, and some of them went to the hospital. And
but I think right now, if the game was next week, I think the 49ers would be favored. I really do, because
probably so.
The Bengals are missing 2 offensive linemen tomorrow, and that's a big concern. Yeah. Anytime you're missing your right tackle and your left tackle, that's huge, and that's the one thing that Baltimore's always been able to do. They've always been able to, number one, stop the run and mug your quarterback if you give him a chance. And how many hits can he take? That's what
you meant saying that. It makes me think, maybe the Bengals need to, as part of their game plan, is try to get their running backs involved more on short passes and end runs.
Screen passes, yeah.
Yeah. Mixon and the guy, whoever else they hit there.
They cannot have him standing back here 5 seconds.
No.
They cannot do it, because if he does it, I mean, last year, even in the playoffs, he got smeared. I mean, one game he got 6 sacks. He can't do that tomorrow. If he does, and look, we don't even know who Baltimore's got quarterback, but we do know one thing: Baltimore will try to run their football on them, and Baltimore is going to try to stop the run. That's the way that they're built. And if they and the fact is, they keep games close that way.
Mm-hmm.
You keep games close when you run it. The games get to be shorter.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to be a 4-hour game. Not with Baltimore. It's just not. They're not going to be throwing the ball all over the field.
I was thinking a good quarterback for the Bengals, from a guy from the past that might have been a good quarterback for the Bengals this weekend with their offensive line the way it is, would maybe be Joe Theismann, because he used to roll out a lot. And if you could get a guy that can, as part of his dropping back, is to roll out away from the pursuit and get.
Ken Anderson did that too.
Yeah.
Ken Anderson looks like to me, the more he moved around, the harder it was for him to hit targets. It looked like, but
an underrated quarterback from the past, though. Ken Anderson was pretty solid.
He was. And Burrow's, but I'm not sure Burrow. It's early on. It's only his 3rd year. But
for Washington, I would take the quarterbacks the Bengals have had, though, with Anderson and Boomer Esiason and Joe Burrow. I mean, if Washington could ever get a group of quarterbacks like that, Theismann had a couple good years for him. Rippon had a really good year for him, maybe 2.
Williams had that.
Well, yeah.
That's the thing.
Williams was good in the Super. I mean, that Super. As far as grading him that year as a quarterback, I'd say he's probably a C. Yeah. Because his completion percentage wasn't that good. He wasn't that flashy. That championship game against Minnesota, he didn't really do much in that. Didn't really do much against the Bears. I mean, it was.
But that's the thing, though, Keith.
He had really good receivers, though. He had really good receivers.
But the thing is, if you're not throwing for $3, 300 yards a game, then how are you winning? Number one, you run the football. Number two, if you are throwing the football, you're not giving it to the other team.
Mm-hmm.
And that's been our problem over the last 10 years.
Well,
even when we could run the football, We're doing great. Then all of a sudden, Carson Wentz steps back and throws, you know, three guys on the other team, and they get to flip a coin to see which one's going to intercept. And the other dude
In,
sit there and watch.
in the years in which Gibbs believed in his running game, which wasn't every year, but the years that he did, he would start using it early, but he would stick with it, even if he wasn't getting first downs and stuff early in the game. He'd just keep pounding you with it, and eventually, the defense would start getting tired, and those runs were working, and then that would open the passing game. Now there were years where he knew he had to pass, but
sometimes you'd see him punt 3 times in the first quarter.
Yeah.
Because he was a bit like, I don't care if we are 3 and out, run.
Mm-hmm.
And if we, and then once you get bust or start cutting them or cutting through, then once they were able to run the football,
Mm-hmm.
and then the play action pass looks so much better then because
Mm-hmm.
it keeps the linebackers at home.
Keeps an 8th man in the box maybe on some plays.
15, 20-yard crosses are a whole lot easier if you don't have to worry about linebackers backing up all the time.
Yeah.
It's not a hard game to figure. It's just if you've got the palm pieces, they can make it happen. And they've had it to where they can make it happen back in the day. Last 40 years, they just haven't. Or 30 years, right? 30 years. 30 years. Because it's been, 31 years now this year that we hadn't won a Super Bowl. But
It was 26 was the last one that they were in.
It was in 92, right?
January of 92, yeah.
And this is 23, so it's 31. This will be 31 years. So, the fact is, like you said,
not even a conference championship game since then, and same for the Lions.
But the fact is, people make so much over the quarterback. Yeah, the quarterback makes a difference. We don't have a Hall of Fame quarterback in here. We don't have a quarterback that was a Hall of Famer and won a Super Bowl. We just don't because they weren't that good. But they could game manage. They could throw the football when they had to. What we need to do is have a game manager like it. Now, I realize you don't see many teams try to run their football 40 times anymore. It just doesn't happen.
Well, I think I would have taken Theismann and Rippon over Eli Manning those years at least.
And the fact is, you look at Theismann's numbers over his career.
Certainly over Trent Dilfer.
You look at Theismann's numbers at Washington. He won more than he lost.
Mm-hmm. I liked Theismann.
He was good.
He had a strong arm too.
Yeah, he loved himself though.
He did, but I liked the guy.
That's every good quarterback. Good quarterback. Bradshaw to this day, me and the boys. And back then, he was looked at as a clubby foot little jabroni that could. He was drafted good, but he could make some stupid looking plays at times. But then when he was on, Bradshaw was hard to beat. He was tough, but he won't near as smooth as Staubach was. Staubach was he was 7-step drop, look for the ball downfield. You didn't see him tripping over himself, and he could throw the ball just smooth downfield and all. But something that Bradshaw had, nobody else had. I don't know whether it was just a winning attitude. Oh, of course, he had great teams. My God, who had better teams around him than that guy? Lord have mercy. Look how many Hall of Famers in '78 he had played with.
Thinking about Theismann, the one thing that when he got hurt, on that Monday night game,
87, right?
85.
Was 85?
Yeah.
85? Okay.
I appreciated the concern that you could see from the Giants players. They were like, to get the trainers and stuff out there. And I think even Lawrence Taylor kind of just looked like he felt really bad about that, like he's maybe even kind of sick to his stomach about it. But
I've watched it a couple times.
I mean, that just shows you some good character on some guys that,
It does. It does. Yeah. And I don't know. I love to watch some of those games from back in the 80s because there were so many really, really, really tough guys. Reggie White, he was tough. Man, oh man, was he tough. Derek, what was his name for the Chiefs? Derek
Thomas.
Thomas, yeah. Oh my God, he was a beast.
Speaking of Reggie White, when he was in USFL, he played for the Memphis Showboats, and Memphis Showboats are going to be in the USFL this year.
Oh, they weren't last year?
No. The Tampa Bay Bandits, for some reason, are taking a 1-year hiatus, and then they're supposed to be back the next year.
Really?
I don't know if it's kind of like a pre-expansion type of thing, or.
Are they going to keep playing all their games?
No, they're going to be playing a few different spots, I think, this year.
Okay.
I don't know how many stadiums, but I think they are going to play in more areas this year.
I think it's more money to be made if they do that because, I mean, if they play down here in Charlotte, does Charlotte have a team? I don't think
they never did. No.
Yeah. So I guess Memphis is probably our closest one. Decent. Washington doesn't have one, do they?
New Jersey has one.
Yeah.
Philadelphia has one.
Yeah, Philadelphia. Yeah.
Philadelphia Stars.
Yeah.
And actually, the Philadelphia Stars became the Baltimore Stars the last year in the existence of the USFL in the 80s.
But now they're back to Philadelphia Stars.
Mm-hmm.
Now, does Baltimore have a team, but they don't have a team now?
No.
They don't. Okay. No. That's just something I've never watched.
You got the Houston Gamblers, the New Orleans Breakers, Birmingham Stallions, Memphis Showboats. Tampa Bay Bandits are on the hiatus this year. Okay, Memphis Showboats. Oh, you got the Pittsburgh Maulers, Philadelphia Stars. No. New Jersey Generals, Philadelphia Stars, Pittsburgh Maulers, and the Michigan Panthers.
That's all of them?
The 8 of them, yeah.
Okay.
Last year you had the Bandits and not the Showboats.
I'll promise you, I've never sat and watched kickoff to the end of the game, ever, now. And it won't happen. I won't do it.
I liked the USFL in the 80s. I was early teens.
I love watching college.
There were some good games.
To me, it would hurt me worse if they said there's not going to be any more college football shown on TV than if they said,
that'll never happen.
No, or if the Super Bowl, they decide to put the Super Bowl on pay-per-view, I could do without it. I would much rather watch college football any day. I love watching college football. I would much rather watch it. Something about it. I don't know what it is. And then if I get to go to them, that's even better. I love going to a good college football game. I love it. Absolutely.
Well, Rob, can you carry things for a minute or two while I take a pee break and get a refill on my coffee?
Certainly can. Yeah,
all right. All right, Rob, take it over for a minute.
Keith's got this brand new channel ongoing, so you guys may not be catching this live, but that doesn't matter. It's Saturday, 14th of January. Was it 10:15 a.m.? No football games have taken place yet, and everybody in the country now is. I guess we're kind of concerned about all this weather that's coming out of California. I don't know what to make of it. I just know all we ever see is rain in San Francisco and some of these other places in California. It's just, you're just hoping that very soon this will stop. But I'm just hoping mostly it doesn't bring us any bad weather here. I got to sneeze, but I want to wait till Keith comes back. You can see it's nice and sunny out there in Louisiana too. He's a couple. He's a time zone away from us, Central. So I'm in the Eastern time zone. You know, that's a great thing about StreamYard too. And hey, I'll tell you what, something's got to go up here in the corner here before long. He put the duck up there anytime he wants to. Maybe we can kind of help Keith come up with some kind of emblem he can have up in the top of his wall. Yeah, maybe we can think of something that you can have.
Well, we got plenty of time to do something like that. Thanks, Rob.
Yeah, and I was just telling about the weather, and the weather they've been getting in California is nuts, absolutely crazy. Absolutely.
They've been getting a lot of bad rain and stuff out there, and
and the whole side.
wow, no wonder it's cold in here. It's 38 degrees outside right now. Sunny, high of 57 coming up.
It's 37 here right now. So
yeah.
But I get this little heater here. She Darlene decided, okay, guess what?
Supposed to get down to 34 tonight.
It's 11 inch by 11 inch right there.
Yeah. The heater?
It's just a little bit. It's probably about 5 feet, about 3-4 feet away from me. And yeah.
See, I don't like to turn the heat on, and I
don't like to want to have to either.
Yeah, I just.
But I played this game last night, Edmonton and Nashville.
Yeah, how'd that go?
Game 75, 5-3, Edmonton. They jumped out 2-0 early.
Oh, that's right. I did tune in late. I did catch the end of that. I remember the fifth goal for Edmonton. Yeah. Yeah, sorry I didn't get on last night. I was tired when I got home last night. Oh man. I was sitting here. I had a Stratomatic game I was playing, and I was in the middle of an inning, started getting really tired, so I just sat there and closed my eyes, dozed off for maybe, I don't know, 10 minutes, let's say. Woke up, played a little bit more. I started getting tired again, and then I dozed off again, and then it was another, I don't know, 5-10 minutes.
That can happen online.
Not with you, Rob. Yeah, I remember one night you were sitting here, and all of a sudden I saw your eyes.
And a 12 is all we need is a 12, and this game is over. We're in the 11th inning.
Oh, you know when you're in the middle of a sentence and you start and you can't finish it.
When you start aiming your eyes at one object, and all you're doing is looking, your eyes not wandering.
Yeah.
When your eyes are wandering, you're wide awake. And then we're in the 11th inning.
Are you ever laying down and you're thinking through something, and then it's like all of a sudden it's like your train of thought gets interrupted, and then it's like you start, okay, where was I? And then you start thinking about it again, and you're awake still, but I think that's at that point where your brain's just about to shut off, and you're about to. So I'll get to that point, and I'll just forget about it, let it go. Next thing I know, I'm waking up later, but
maybe that's why my football picks are so bad. Sometimes I wait till 11:30, 12 o'clock at night and be like, all right, we got the Chiefs and the Vikings. And we got the Chiefs, and I look at it 3 or 4 times, and I'm like, okay, maybe I'll wait till tomorrow to finish this. But
I'm looking at.
It's pretty
I got my YouTube thing here. I'm just. Where does it show you if you got any viewers or anything? I don't know.
Okay. Up above your head, right there. Look up there at the top.
Yeah, I see like the thumbs up thing, and then I guess it's 0.
We got that. Now the thing is, how many people know about your channel name?
Well, that's the thing. I don't think there's very many.
Right. So that's the thing. What we got to do when you do come on there. You may have to change your name right there. to exactly what your channel name is.
Oh,
Then you can have people actually, what do you call it, subscribe to your channel, and
mhm.
then they can go back and watch.
Oh yeah, I get that, but I didn't see. I invited.
They won't be given the opportunities to join your channel, even if they follow you. If you changed your name,
Mhm.
you'll have to tell them. You'll have to give them your name. That's the reason I just kept.
Yeah, I did send some other invites out for StreamYard this morning. I sent one to Tim, obviously, and Michael. I think Harris. I sent one to Alan just in case he was around.
Alan is a trip.
Yeah,
Alan.
and I want to say, oh, Anthony Armstrong, or no, not Anthony. Sean Armstrong.
Sean Armstrong. Yeah. Sean's awesome.
Yeah, if I would have thought Anthony would join, I would have sent him. But I just ones I see more often.
Anthony got in touch with me yesterday, and now it looks like I'm going to be doing some beta testing on a boxing game. 5 rolls, we had a whole boxing match.
Oh, like a quick roll game.
Yeah, quick play. Yeah. That was so weird though. You said I am live. I sent you an invite. That was 9:27. I'm in the bathroom. I'm like, oh, okay.
What were you doing in there?
Just waking up. I was just fixing to throw water.
That's your wake up room?
Oh yeah. I have to go in there, throw water on my face 2 or 3 times, be like, okay, am I awake yet? Sometimes I don't talk myself into it. I'm like, fuck it, I'm going back to bed. Excuse me. And I'll be like, I'll throw water on my face 3 or 4 times. I'll be like, I ain't awake. I can't talk myself into it. I look at myself in the mirror and be like, I wish I was awake, but I ain't.
Why do you wear the headset, Rob? Is it just so Darlene doesn't hear all the other voices, or?
Yeah, she's just waking up right now. She's just getting out of bed right now. Yeah, it's like, especially if somebody else is here. And then sometimes I hear about it like this. When I got it directly on like this. I don't have. Yeah, I can hear this little heater right here. Not loud, but I can hear it. But yeah, that's mainly the reason I do it. That way. Yeah, that way, if she's not sleeping, laying down or something, I can't.
So I could do that so that. All right. I have no idea what Rob's doing. Oh, he's handing something to Darlene.
She needed her meds.
Ah.
She came in here just now. So she get everything there to take her shots and stuff. I don't like being there when she's taking her shots. I don't like doing that.
Let's see.
Now, have you decided if you're going to do a playback of a team, or if you're just going to play some games just to be playing some games?
Well, I haven't decided anything on hockey or anything yet. No, but
yeah.
Oh,
I got you.
I might kind of, I got some of these. I know you're not a big fan of the History Maker game, but I just kind of like playing around with it. I've been watching Al play it a little bit lately. He had a game. Yeah, History Maker Baseball. And I got the 69 season in it, but mainly just to get the Mets and the Orioles. Although the Cubs had a good season too, so I might do something with some of those teams. But then I got the Fall Classics first set, and I might do something with the some of those World Series teams. Like get about 6 of them and just kind of play a part of a season or something.
I got you. Nothing wrong with that.
George Brett, 85, a semi-champion, a slugger, semi-patient.
I like George Brett.
Yeah, he was a good player.
Now, can't let my wife hear this, but I liked him better than I did.
Mike Schmidt.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You let me say it so she wouldn't hear it. Oh.
You couldn't hear a thing.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah, I like him better than Schmidt. I do. That's just me.
I can't believe it. Ozzie Smith is rated as gold as a fielder. Who would have ever guessed?
Oh boy. Yeah. Yeah.
As a hitter, he's a semi-scrapper with a good eye.
Scrappy dude.
Wow.
Scrappy doo-doo is what he was.
Vince Coleman is a runner, double active. I guess that means he goes from first to third.
He's very, very fast.
I don't use the History Maker steel system though. I use the Stratomatic steel system.
Oh, dude.
When I'm yeah, because their steel system's pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh, it was the
5-3, and they won that game in real life 4-0. So now I don't even know who I got coming up next.
Yeah, but I might. Maybe I'll do something with like the 68 Tigers, Cardinals, 69 Orioles, Mets, and 72 Reds and Athletics or something.
I wish I enjoyed games back from then. But if I weren't born and I couldn't see them,
Oh, really? 60s to me, the 60s
I
is.
never based nothing on. I never had nothing to base it on. I sit by. Have you ever watched those games? Like watched them on?
No, but to me,
TV?
to me though, to be able to play a game, you can kind of get a feel as a player. You know what they were like. It's kind of like you get a little bit of an experience of what they feel like. But to me, the 60s was like one of the best decades for baseball. The 70s was good too. 50s wasn't bad. But the 60s, I mean, there were just so many iconic names, it seemed like, you know, with your Mays and Aaron and Mantle. And I mean, it goes on and on. But
Yeah.
Bob Gibson and Koufax and
and I'm more of like.
And the Phillies had some decent teams in the 60s. 64,
Yeah.
63, 60. Well, later 60s, not so much.
I'm one of those people.
What does the present button do on StreamYard? Let me click it and see what happens.
Oh.
Extra camera, share screen.
Look. Slides, video files. Hit share screen.
You see that? The baseball field?
Yeah.
That's Stratomatic. Does it look clear or?
Yeah. Now, did you have it saved, or was that on the computer right now?
No, that's on the computer right now. Oh, I see. Is our pictures off on the left?
Yeah.
You can still see me, or?
Yes, I can.
Oh yeah, I can too. Okay.
Yeah, I can see you.
Yeah. See, I was.
That works.
Maybe while you're there, I'll kind of. This game is. Let's see. I'm going to click on, does it show you the box score there? Can you see that?
I can see a box score, but it ain't big. Let's see. Hold on. Man, Mississippi. Yeah, don't help me out there. You are either in the bottom of the sixth, seventh, bottom of the seventh, or the top of the eighth.
Top of the 8th.
All right. Hold on. And I see a 1 right there. 5-4.
No, it's 8 to 4.
8-4.
Yeah.
4. Oh, you got a 4, a 2, and a 2. 2 in the first, 2 in the fourth, 4 in the fifth.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's got 1 in the second, 2 in the fifth, and 1 in the seventh.
Yeah. Top of the 8th.
It's real little. Yeah. And then it says, that's all I can think. So
The Tigers are 3-4. The Red Sox are 2-6.
Miller at first base. Say Miller.
Yeah, Rick Miller. I pinch hit with him a little while ago.
He
Let's
didn't
see
play
who.
first 2 months. He played
Stapleton was over there, but I needed a better bat. So
He
anyway,
didn't play a lot of first base. Rick Miller played a lot of outfield. But
yeah, maybe I'll do something like this to start with, and then use my own dice rolls on here for this '84 season. I'm using that rock and roll dice roller
yeah,
because I'm sitting down when I do it. But let's see, that's a 4 and 9.
Marty Barrett.
Yeah. So this has got a ground ball to Jurak. It's an X chart play, which is his defense. It's G1, so it should be an out unless there's an error, and there's not. So that's a 6-3 ground out by Brookins.
And do you have Stratomatic, the paper version of it, or only computer?
I have just the paper version of the 67 season and maybe the 2003 or something like that. Lou Whitaker is 0 for 4 in this game. He's batting 194 on the season.
He was a tough, hard-nosed player. Is he a Hall of Famer?
No, I don't think so. Trammell is now, but not him.
Okay, I didn't know whether Whitaker was or not.
Trammell got voted in on that committee, Veterans Committee.
Yeah.
Fly ball to Evans and Wright. That's 2 down. Trammell is, let's see, he's walked a couple times, struck out once. He's 0 for 2. Batting 400 so far this year. Let's see, 5-5. That will be
He was a 5-time All-Star, though, Whitaker.
Yeah, there's a double on the left field line. So Trammell is at second with 2 out. That is his 3rd double of the season. Brings up Barbaro Garby, who's 4 for 4 in this game with 2 runs scored.
Wow.
He's hitting 636 after 11 at bats. I think that's 7 hits. 2,
It would
4.
be 7 of 11 be 636.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
And
So this is only like the 3rd game of the season, 4th, 2nd game.
let me look. He just grounded out to end the inning. Let's see. He's 3rd different game he's played.
Oh, okay. And how many games has the whole team played this year?
7, I think it was. 3 and 4, are they? Yeah, 3 and 4.
Okay.
They were actually 7 and 0 because they started out like 23 and 5 or something that year. They were.
It wouldn't miss Austin's record.
2 and 6. 2 and 6.
Oh, they really.
But they have an offense. I mean, you see here Rice 28 homers. Evans had 32. Easler 27. Armas 43. Gedman 24.
I love this Rice in the left-handed batter's box. That's awesome.
Well, that's just a snapshot of the field. That never changes.
I got you. So he's 1 for 3.
Yeah, with a double. Ground ball back to Lopez. Let's see, it was Wilcox who started for the Tigers in this one against gosh, some guy that was, Hurst, but he had a bad outing.
Bruce Hurst.
Yeah, he a couple of those runs against him scored after he left the game, but he had helped to load the bases, and
Oh yeah.
I took him out in the fifth.
We got somebody called Noah that can do that for Phillies.
Aaron, here's Easler, 0 for 3.
He can load the bases with the best of them.
6-4 roll here for Easler. That's going to be his best column, though. Oh, that's gone. That's a home run.
Oh, really?
Way back to right.
And he scored now. He is.
It's now 8-5.
8-5.
Yeah. So Armas will come up 2 for 3. He's singled and tripled, hitting 342 on the season. That is a 6-8. And that's going to be a walk. So Lopez getting a little shaky here in the bottom of the 8th inning.
How much longer do you hang with him now?
I'm trying right now to get him through this inning because they could put in Guillermo Willie in the 9th inning. Now that it's a save situation.
Yeah.
Actually, I could put him in now, but let me see.
How many outs are there? Only one out. Yeah. So he'd have to have a 5-out save.
Let's see how I'll let him face Gedman here. See how that goes. Only 4 hits for Boston.
4 hits and what? 5 runs?
Yeah. A lot of walks.
That doesn't happen often.
No. That's going to be a fly out for Gedman to, well, I don't even know how to pronounce this guy's name. Is it Kuntz?
What?
Rusty?
Rusty Kuntz?
I hope so. I can't pronounce
Is
it.
K-O-O-N-T-Z?
No, Kuntz.
You hope so.
Yeah, otherwise you can't say that name on. Rick Miller walked earlier. Yeah, my YouTube channel will be short-lived if I try to.
Shortest lived.
Yeah, right. Into the record.
Oh my God. Go back to my channel Monday, Tuesday night and be like, Rob, can I do that strat game on your channel? I was like, hell no.
All right, let's see. How's Brown doing here?
But you can't have him on there.
Yeah, Mike Brown.
Bench him that night.
Let's see, Parrish.
And having Rusty as a first name doesn't really add on.
No, it makes it worse.
I guess Dirty would be worse.
Yeah.
Sandy.
Here's our street worker just outside the stadium.
Sandy.
Yeah. Yeah, imagine the woman that married him, huh?
Yeah, we're at the beach with Sandy. Oh, okay.
You're really helping my channel survivability here, Rob. Jurek, it's short.
I didn't choose that lineup. I probably would have benched him for one game anyway. I would have found some reason behind it.
Oh, you wouldn't have been daring. Well, this is as played lineups here though, so
Was it?
Yeah.
While you're doing that, I am writing down game 76.
All right, here's a hit.
Not lineups, just getting the board ready. Yeah.
The triple for Chet Lemon. 2 out. This is Darrell Evans coming up.
Darrell Evans was a good ball player.
Yeah. He's 1 for 1, intentional walk and a single. He didn't start the game.
Oh, he didn't.
No, they might intentionally walk him here because he's a left-handed hitter.
Who is it? Who is it? Closer? Or have you even got a closer going for?
Not for Boston. They're behind by 3.
They're behind by 3. So who have you got as a?
Rusty's up to bat here.
Pinch hitter time. Pinch hitter time.
No,
Oh my God!
let him go.
Let Rusty go. Let Rusty show what he's got. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, imagine the play-by-play guy when he got that lineup card.
Yeah. Imagine.
Hey, who's trying to get me in trouble? No, that's his name. Right.
You're right. I've been hearing the background noises of everybody trying to get me fired.
Yeah. Ooh, here's an extra base hit for him. Run scores. Yeah. Evans goes to third. And for Rusty, that is, let's see. Is that his first RBI?
Rusty, he's having a better day than I am.
That's his second RBI of the game. In season, it's 9-5.
Rusty's having a better game than I am. Oh my God.
Let's see, Brown, he's starting to get fatigued, so we'll bring somebody in out of the bullpen. I guess it'll be Clear. Even though he's
Clear. Is that his name? Is that his name Mark Clear?
Yeah, he sucked.
Huh?
He sucked that year, but
he
down by 4.
He was with the Angels forever, right?
Yeah, I think he was with the Angels before that. Here's Brookins.
Might have been after that. What year was this?
84.
I think he was with them after that.
3-8. And it's a grounder to Jurak at short to end the top of the ninth. Well, let's see now.
Now Boston's got a hard road to hoe now. No pun intended. With Sandy there.
Well, he plays for the Tigers. Jurak.
Yeah.
He was on the World Series winning team that year. I don't know if he was in the World Series roster, but 4-7. Pitch by Lopez. Strikes him.
Every game though, not
but what
not just the Tigers.
No. I'm up to game. I think this is 55, maybe 56, and I haven't been playing it that long.
You do a couple a day if you can.
Yeah. So, well, down the weekends, last couple of weekends, I did sometimes like 4 or 5 in a day.
Oh yeah. Out.
Sit there while watching football and just roll away, 10. Here's a single for Marty Barrett. Left field.
Still don't have a tying run on there.
Oh, they're down by 4.
Oh, I thought they were down 3. Okay, down 4.
That'll bring up Dwight Evans.
Dewey, he could make it 9-7.
Yeah.
I doubt he will, but he could, I guess. Who's pitching for them?
Let's see, where's my dice roller? There it is.
Lopez.
Yeah, Aurelio Lopez.
Oh, yeah.
2-7. The pitch by Lopez strikes him out. 2 strikeouts in this appearance by Lopez. 5 on the year. Wade Boggs, 0 for 2. He struck out 2 walks. One of them forced in a run and the ground out. Batting .306. 4-2. That's going to end the ball game with a fly out to Lemon in center.
You said 4-2, and then as soon as you say it, then that's when the dice just start rolling on my end.
Oh.
Yeah, and a couple seconds later, then they're 4-2. That's
Oh.
cool. Yeah.
Box score. And that'll end that. So, let's see, what was that? Game 50. Oh, 53. I thought it was 54, 55, somewhere in there. Let's see the stats, league stats. I don't know if you can read the standings there, but Detroit's up to 4-4. What's that?
Anybody hit close to 400? Probably so now. You would think so now. Oh, yeah. I thought you had a guy who went 7 for 12.
Yeah, real early for him. Let's see. Boston 2-7. They're 5 games out already.
Well,
Toronto's on top.
Nothing like playing 2 weeks of baseball and being 7 out. 5 out of the first.
Yeah. Minnesota's 5 out in the West. The White Sox are off to a hot start. Kansas City, the division winner that year, is only 3-4 so far.
So it doesn't look like your teams that were good that year. Now, are you playing only American League? Or you playing National League?
Yeah, just the American League. Home teams are 28-25.
If Alan hears about that, he won't do it anyway.
Yeah, because of the DH. Yeah, the league batting average is 264. Let's see, Detroit is
higher than it is now. That's higher than it is now.
Yeah, I think the actual was like 261 or something that year, so that's pretty close. Detroit, and it was up to 272, so it's been coming down. Detroit's 4th at 271, and let's see, Boston is 7th at 264, right at the average.
Very cool. Very cool.
The league ERA is 4.37. I think the actual is 4.06 that year. Detroit is 6th at 3.97 right now. And Boston is last, 14th, 7.85 after 9 games. They have an ERA of 7.85.
And that's why.
That's why they're 2-7.
Yeah, exactly. It's not their offense. It's not even defense. It's pitching.
Yeah.
Would you say 7.85?
Yeah. Bad.
Yeah. You go, nothing like going in the clubhouse and say, guys, you ready to put 8 on the board for us today? Before every game, say that. Okay, where's our 8 at today, boys? We're expecting it. Bruce Hurst is, Bruce Hurst is Bruce Hurst. So.
Let's see. The best batting average right now is Don Slott at 524. For guys that have had some minimum number of at bats, I don't know what the number is, but Mickey Hatcher hitting 476. Lloyd Mosby 467. Yep. Trammell batting 419 up there. I sometimes I just look at the players that just played, what ones are kind of in the list, and for batting average we got Trammell at 419. At bats doesn't really matter, although it shows some teams have played more than others. Alan Trammell tied for second with runs scored with 11. At Dewey Evans with 9. As far as hits, we got Armas and Rice each with 13. Trammell with 13 as well. Doubles, nobody up there with more than 3. Triples, Armas has 2. Chet Lemon has 3. Home runs, we've got 5 guys tied for the league lead with 4. Dewey Evans, Alan Trammell, Brian Downing, Steve Balboni, and Carney Lansford. RBI, we've got Rice with 10, Parrish with 9, Trammell with 8, Walks, Evans has 9. Gibson 8. Gibson didn't play in that game. Evans 7. Strikeouts. Easler and Evans both have 10 strikeouts. Whitaker has 9. And a double play. Jim Rice, 5 double plays. Trammell has an 8-game hitting streak. Evans has an 8-game streak, but it's been snapped at some point. Jim Rice at 7. Alan Trammell has the highest slugging percentage at .968.
Very cool.
Let's see, Dwight Evans, 703, up on that list of the top 12. Alan Trammell's on base, 514. And Evans, Darrell Evans, 480. Alan Trammell tied for the lead in total bases with 30. Jack Morris has been pretty good this season. He's got a couple wins, most batters faced, most innings pitched. Let's see, little saves. Aurelio Lopez has 2 saves. I haven't even used Guillermo Willie Hernandez yet.
Really?
Yeah, they haven't really had an opportunity for him.
Yeah, I got you. If you want to, I'm going to actually do a hockey game, I think, in a couple minutes.
All right.
If you decide you want to pop over there,
All right.
why don't you put your name as your thing? And
Okay.
While I play it, advertise. Every time between dice rolls or whatever, anytime, just say, hey, go over and check it out. I'm going to be on live.
Or you want, you could put it on your little bottom of the screamer. Yeah.
I'll do that. All
right, I appreciate it.
That way, it'll just stay on there all the time. But I'll probably be on there in just a minute.
All right. Well, so anybody watches this later, if you're still with us, this will be a wrap on video number 1 for me. I'll see you soon, Rob. Over your channel, right? We're gonna go do some little hockey.
Yeah. And I hope you guys just jumped from my channel and came over here and watched this. Well, thank you.
Do I just hit leave studio to close this out?
Up at the top right, it says. Look over the top right. It says.
I see where it says go live.
Okay. We never did. Did you ever go live?
I thought I did.
You never went live. You don't have a clock above your head.
Well, it shows on my YouTube studio. It says live 1 hour 48 minutes 19 seconds.
And the clock is still running.
But it just shows me. I don't. Yeah, the clock's still running.
Yeah, you're live then. On the far right, it should be something that says end of broadcast over there.
Let me click.
Right up there.
So they might have just heard you and other things then, huh?
Oh, the broadcast is live now. You just.
Oh, okay. So.
I believe what we just did.
Huh? Yeah.
Hey guys, you won't believe what we just did.
Yeah. Well, I'll be interested to see what it looks like because there's something that's live on YouTube. So it probably is. This looks like I'm talking to a fictional person or something. I don't know if they'll hear you or not. Probably not.
I believe this is the only thing going live right now because generally when I'm live on my channel, can't you see the clock?
Well, go to your YouTube and see. You got my channel pulled up. See what it does. It show like an hour and something. Well, let's just end this. Let's end the broadcast, and we'll look at it later. All right, man. All right. Bye bye.
The greatest one.
Oh, Rob's channel promotion. He's doing hockey.
Oh, yeah.
Bye bye. All right.
Yeah, nobody's here to say it to, but yeah, hi, come on over.
All right.